deeply, and I'll tell you again, I love y'all so deeply. Thank you. Whew, let's take a deep breath together. This is more for me than it is for you. Okay. Good morning, my wonderful homies, class of 2025. Yes. Good morning to President Gaines, our deans, trustees, faculty, staff, and most importantly, family, friends in the class of 2025. It is an incredible honor to stand before you today, not just as your class president, but as someone who has been deeply shaped, moved, and transformed by this journey with you. I stand here to reflect, to celebrate, and to recognize the resilience that lives in every single one of us. It is a moment to reflect, not just on what we've done or how we've done it, but also who we have become along the way. It is a day to recognize and honor, giving thanks and gratitude to our people, places, land, and community that has carried us, guided us, believed in us, helping shape who we are and making our becoming possible. I've often told you in conversations and in many emails, in the end, everything works out. But let me be honest. There have been moments for me, for many of us, when that didn't feel particularly true. Moments when we sat in the frightfully unknown. I remember one such moment, late night, caffeinated, worn out, overwhelmed. Some of you know where I'm going with this. That moment when you're questioning everything from your thesis to your existence. On a FaceTime study session with my sister, she looked at me and asked, "Shark, can you see the forest from the trees?" I laughed, and in the most sarcastic tone I could muster, I fired back, "Well, can you see the beach from the sand? Oh, how about can you see the lake from the water? And the potatoes from the fries? Yeah, okay, that one I can always see, let me be honest." But my sister, the more patient one between the both of us, bless her for dealing with me for 22 years, she just looked at me and smiled. I didn't particularly understand a word that she said. I must have been drowning from trees, because where was this forest? But in the end, her words stuck. I was so tangled in the mess, in the trees, in the details, that I lost sight of the bigger picture. The deadlines, the responsibilities, the stress, the pressure, yes, this was all real and maybe somewhat important. But I forgot to ask, why am I doing this? What is all of this pointing to? What is my forest? The forest, it's your purpose, your values, your dreams, your people. It's what gets you out of bed when you hit snooze 10 times, and truth be told, on a Monday morning, my count is higher. But, class of 2025, as you step out into the real world, yes, there may be some trees, some great ones, and others not so much. You will have jobs, you will have fellowships, responsibilities, all that come with rejections, deadlines, broken relationships, and confusing choices. Don't let them blind you to your forest. But if you ever find yourself lost and struggling to see that forest, here are a few guiding principles my mother told me to keep me going and moving forward. You see, growing up, my family faced seasons of deep hardship. There were times when we genuinely didn't know how we would be able to keep going, or whether school fees could be paid, or whether our dreams would have to be shelved. This season was shaped by two critical pillars that my mom instilled within me: faith and action. Faith, the belief that something better is truly possible. It is the strength to hope even when you can't see the path, to hope in uncertainty. But faith alone wasn't enough without action, showing up for ourselves, showing up for each other. It meant choosing to move forward even when the odds were so slim. But still, there were times when the weight of it all, when the obstacles felt too big for little me then, and even sometimes too big for me now. When fear would tell me to stand still. But that's when faith and action mattered most. In those moments, it teaches you not only to wait for doors to open, but to knock with trembling hands again and again, trusting that one day those doors will open, and that takes courage. In those moments when hope seemed thin, my mother would say to my sister and I, "No one is born courageous. You become courageous through action, and therefore we must take action in the direction of our faith." That saying became more than just words. It became a way of life, and it is how I stand before you today. Because sometimes faith is all you have. Not certainty, not clarity, just faith. That even when the path isn't clear, you know there is still a path. That even when the world feels too big and too broken and too far gone, your steps still matter. And courage. Courage isn't something you wait for. It's something you step into. You show up, you take one small action, even when your voice shakes, even when you're unsure, and in doing that, you become brave. That's how many of us seated here today, that's how we got here. You were courageous when you left home. You were courageous when you asked for help. You were courageous when you led protests. You were courageous when you chose to rest instead of burnout. You were faithful, not because you had all the answers, but because you chose to act in the direction of your faith. So as we step into the future that feels uncertain professionally, politically, environmentally, I urge you to carry these with you: faith, action, and courage. Just start where you are, do what you can, and trust that your small actions will ripple. You know, as a child, I wanted to change the world. But somewhere along the way, it became more about surviving it than transforming it. And like many of you, I wrestled with hard questions. Is that even possible? Are we just too far gone? Does this world truly have a space for all of us? Not just to survive, but to thrive. But let me tell you what gives me hope. It's y'all. It's all of you in this place that I found my answer. You have inspired me, you have challenged me, and you have reminded me not to be afraid. To me, all of you have demonstrated courage. I speak to you now as someone who has been transformed. My perspective and lens through which I see the world has been shaped by you. Thank you. Students of Pomona College, thank you, because I have watched you challenge norms, rules, stereotypes, and ideologies. I have watched you advocate and organize and build mutual aid networks with each other, sitting in moments of pain and uncertainty. You spoke up when it mattered most. You supported one another when systems failed you, when support couldn't be found in other people, places, and institutions. You became each other's safety net. Through you, I have come to understand that it is not about changing the world by yourself. It is about creating opportunities, amplifying voices, and breaking barriers so others can too. So we all can together. You reminded me of Ubuntu. I am because we are. It is a belief that our humanity is intertwined, that none of us are whole until we all are. It is a way of life that affirms the dignity of every human being and recognizes the shared responsibility we have to each other and to our land. Yes, the world is complex. Yes, there are systems that are broken, but no, that is not the end of the story. So class of 2025, I say this with my whole heart. You are worthy, you are capable, you are needed. You deserve to be seen, to be heard, to belong, to live with joy and purpose. The road ahead may be uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, but that is not new to us. When those moments comes, remember, pause, remember your forest, anchor yourself in faith, whatever that means to you. And in doing, you will become courageous. Give yourself grace, give others grace, and trust in the end, and maybe even in the middle, everything will all work out. Thank you for being part of my forest. I love you all so deeply. Congratulations!